okay, or was she like,
Nah, she was crying.
well, that's what I was meaning when I was like, give her my like,
Yeah,
I didn't know,
because she
show her support
because the
system.
second
Like,
time she wasn't there because she went home because she was already with me for a week and a half. So she went home.
that's why I was saying, give her my phone number in case,
Yeah.
like,
But my uncle was there with her. And so, but then she came. She drove right away back. That's why I feel bad because she was supposed to be done. Yes, please. She was supposed to be done, and then she had to come all the way back. She had to,
I
so
felt bad keep texting you because I was like, is she
no,
sitting in the hospital while you're sitting
no.
in
So
surgery by
she
herself?
she
Like,
came back. So the first week, she was with me the whole time. The first time I got admitted, yeah, she was just sitting in the hospital.
okay,
The second time, uh, as soon as I went into Mercy, my uncle called her and she started driving.
okay. From Arkansas?
Yeah,
Mm.
she had just about 6 hours.
Hi, guys. I'm gonna get everybody in here and we'll kick the party off here in about a minute. And some of those questions, I tried to write them down some too.
Good.
Cool. Getting all the tech set up, guys, and we'll be right with you. My computer's been lagging today too, guys. So if you start getting me like on a lag, please tell me, or if it starts like pulling away. So, all right. What's up, Josh? Can I get a mic check from you? Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Sweet. Good to have you, man. I know you ain't been on one of the last ones, so.
Yeah. I last weekend or Wednesday was my nephew's birthday party, and then I think the 2 weeks prior to that was the 2 o'clock calls, and because of work, I just could not make those. So
All good, man. All good. Well, guys, welcome. A couple of you, this is your first call of the year with us. And so I've got a buddy here with me tonight. And so we actually, him and I work together on some stuff. I'll intro you in a minute and everything. But the reason why I wanted to have Rob, so he's a friend of mine. We get to hang out and do some stuff. We both have the same faith background, but we live next to each other and we do some deals together. And I wanted to have Rob here for the first half. So, guys, we're still going to get to all any problems, issues, marketing, anything that we want to. I will still most definitely make time for that tonight. But I wanted to have Rob here because a lot of you in here are starting to loan money. And so I know some of you on the call are loaning money. I know one of you just completed a transaction. So high five, Ashley. But I know others are either interested, and some of the people that can't be here who watch the recordings are wanting to loan money. And so Rob has, I'll let him intro himself, but he has had a portfolio of homes. He has, excuse me, he started out with no experience. He had built a portfolio of homes. He sold a portfolio. He has moved into larger investments, some with me, some with some other guys, and just wanted to have him just kind of talk through that track a little bit. And you guys are welcome to ask questions, and we'll spend 15 to 30 minutes here, and then let's get into your guys' stuff. But I wanted to have him here for those of you that are starting to loan money so that you can see kind of how he thinks about it. So I drafted some questions that I think you all might have as questions, and so I'm going to ask him those. So cool, dude. Will you tell us like who you are real quick,
Yeah, I'm Rob
Rob?
Shergan. I'm 37 years old. I was born and raised in South Florida. I was born in Hollywood, Florida. And then when I was like 13, I moved to Palm Beach and went to high school there. Then I went to college at Florida State. And then I went to med school down in Miami. And then all over the country, really, for training, residency, fellowship. And I did fellowship in Germany and surgery and different things. So I kind of been all over. And now I've been in Southern Illinois here for about 5 years now. So
Cool, dude. Just got married.
just got married in July, and that's kind of why I transitioned my portfolio because I can't hustle and grind anymore. I need to really focus on my family and having kids in the future and things like that. So that's kind of why I transitioned the bulk of my portfolio into more of limited partner stuff to where I can still invest, I can still get the financial benefit of my write-offs and stuff, but that way I can focus on my family and my personal life.
Yeah.
So
Can we say your wife's name so they can look her up?
yes, yeah.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
my
His wife is a
so my
professional.
wife is Adriana Perret. That's her maiden name. My last name is Shergan, but she's a professional MMA fighter, and she's actually signing with the UFC here soon. So yeah, her next fight is January 31st in Hot Springs, and I think then she's fighting maybe in Las Vegas or something. So she's a MMA fighter, so I can't mess around too much. So I
I
have to
should have
listen to
had her. I
what she
should have had her
says.
sign my punching bag. She came and worked out here one day. I should have had her like, I don't know, put a hole in my back or
She would
something
have.
like
She
that.
would have. She loves that. So.
Okay. And so I wrote down, guys, I wrote down for a couple of you that just joined. So I wanted to have Rob on here. He is, he's a surgeon by day, and then he has built a portfolio and he's transitioned to loaning and investing in other deals. And so this is a path that some of you are da starting to dabble in, but in the future for all of you, if you continue down this real estate path, this is the typical like trajectory that I see at least. So, okay, man, can you touch on like what your why did you buy your first like why did you buy your first house? Did you buy more than one at a time? Or like what'd you do?
So the reason I started getting into real estate is because I was blessed to have a good job and I was making very good amount of money. And so since I was making a good amount of money, I wanted to keep as much as I could in taxes. And so I did a lot of research on how to utilize the tax code to keep as much of my money as possible. So that's why I said, okay, well, I'm going to start buying rental properties. And so I bought one cash deal. Just it was really cheap. And then I just rented it out. And then people in the area started kind of knowing that I buy cash. And so people were just starting to come and I buy houses and more houses. I think I got up to about 25 single family homes until I started trying to transition. And that was over about a three-year period where I went from no homes to about 25, 26 homes. And I started dabbling. Some of them were, I had about maybe 16 rentals, monthly rentals, but then I started dabbling in Airbnbs just because of the tax code, not because it produced more, but I was able to have more write-offs because I was learning more because obviously with my I'm a W-2. I'm not a 1099 I work for a big hospital. And so with the Airbnbs, I was able to write off my W-2 income with the Airbnbs. But with the passive rentals, I wasn't able to. So I was kind of transitioning to do that. And then, so that's how I got into that. And so I went from like zero to about 26 homes in about 3-year period.
Mm. And then and didn't you and they were all here, right? They're all
They're
here.
all in this area. I do have some in Hot Springs, Arkansas now,
Okay.
but the majority are here.
And they're, like in our area too, guys, it was probably like I'm gonna guess like $30,000 purchase price to I mean the ones on the lake are different, but
Correct. So all of them were about 30,000 purchase price. And then I ended up selling I sold a bulk of recently. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I sold 16 in one deal and I 1031 that into a bigger project. But I did a lot of word of mouth deals and then I did a lot of foreclosures. I actually would like go between lunch breaks or close a little aspect of the clinic and run to the courthouse and bid on houses and you would have to pay cash. I'd literally bring $60,000 of cash, buy two houses, and then go back to work and see patients. And that was sometimes were my best deals because those houses were valued at sometimes a couple 100,000, and I got them for 30 grand cash. So it was just a lot of hustling. And that's kind of why I transitioned because it was a lot of time because I already worked 80 hours plus a week. And I was also collecting rent, doing everything, getting calls during the day. Hey, this broke down. So calling my contractors, calling the plumbers. And so I was kind of done with the daily hustle and I didn't need to grind so much. And once I had the connections to do different deals, I prayed about it and I was like, okay, I'm going to go do these deals because I get the same benefits, but I don't have any time commitment. So that's kind of why I transitioned the bulk of my portfolio to the partnerships.
Cool. Yeah, and the partnership deals, there's one, so one of them's a 40 unit 40 unit townhome that we're building in Wimberley, Texas. And so I don't know, we're probably 4, 6 months in, however long we're in on that. And so it'll be another year or two before that one gets done. And then he's the majority owner of one of our big O RV parks in Texas. So that's what we're getting together on tonight. But okay, so let me see. How did you, because I've got this question from a couple of you on here. How did you finally make the like decision to like trust somebody to loan money to them? Like how did you
Well,
say like, okay, I'll give you the money? You know?
so, okay, so full transparency. I mean, I'm very faith-based, so I definitely prayed through it big time. And I came from a background where my parents worked very hard. We never needed for anything, but I didn't have any money. So I always grew up, I'm going to work hard. You know how your parents used to say back in the day, be a doctor, be a lawyer, or whatever. So I knew I wanted to work hard, have a good job. So once I had a good job, I knew I wanted to be fruitful with that money and kind of try to bless people with and be fruitful with the Lord blessed me with. So I knew I wanted to invest. I was just kind of scared because I remember the first time I got my big production bonus. I'm sitting with a couple $100,000. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with it? It's more money than I ever thought I would ever have. So I was really scared and timid. And so I really prayed. And then a friend, this is when I didn't know Travis, this was about 4 years ago. And a friend said, hey, I have a friend that just came back into town. He does these things. Can you just meet with him? And so I met with him and it seemed like the deal was, oh, wow, this is a great deal. It's too good to be true. Seems great. But am I going to give a guy, I don't know, a couple $100,000 that like I worked so hard for? It's that to me, that's like at the time that was life-changing money. It's a blessing to say, oh, that might not be much now. But at the time, everyone's at a different stage. That was like life-changing money for me. And I could see my family, like, I want to be fruitful. So I set my family up. And so I really prayed about it. And I did ask around. I had friends that knew Travis, and I knew people actually in his family. His aunt, was it your aunt or your cousin?
Allison? Was
Yeah,
it Al?
yeah.
Yeah, cousin.
So I just asked people, and I felt peace about it, and so that I just took the leap of faith, and that's what it was. I mean, I really prayed about it and just took the leap of faith and decided to do the deal.
Who introduced us? Who was it? Hobby?
Eric, yeah,
Hobby?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so for those of you on here, oh no, I'm sorry, whoever's in the waiting room. And so, I know a couple of you have already kind of done that. Like you guys have called me to ask about like ask like, hey, is this guy in the group like a goofball or whatnot? And so just keep doing that. Anytime you guys are ever borrowing money from each other, feel free to like try to verify it like somehow. And so even if it's like, I think you always you I think it's kind of a given, like we talk about a lot in here, but like just pray on everything, man. Just ask him if you don't feel good about it, don't do it. And but then try to get as much like personal reference as you can, because I'm gonna guess like we probably work together because it like yeah, I think the deals, like everything makes sense in Excel. Like everything can look pretty in an Excel file, but like at the end of the day, you have to like trust the person more than I think the deal in itself. So okay, I've got one, maybe two more. So some of you in here, some of these guys and gals are starting to raise money. Okay. What have you seen some people do that was like a turn off for you as far as raising capital? Because you and I have sat in on some pitch meetings. So we've sat in on some pitch meetings together where guys are trying to get capital from us. Um, and not necessarily just that one because that wasn't the best one,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some other
Well, that was a
ones
good
too.
example because I feel like the best thing is being organized, making sure you have your ducks in a row. I mean, you guys are all in real estate, so the same questions you would ask someone else, make sure you have the answers for those questions because people who are going to trust you with your money, I mean, if they're thinking correctly, they're going to have good questions, and you guys are professionals, you probably have the same questions. So just make sure every question that you would ask, you would scrutinize yourself and kind of hold yourself to that same category. I mean, do your due diligence, make sure like you know what the ROI is and all those real estate terms and that they're going to want to know, hey, I'm giving you my money. What am I going to get from my money? What's the time period? And then one thing that Travis did really well, he always like kind of told you what the pitfalls could be. He showed you what it could be and gave you great data and great examples, but he also said, hey, this is what the potential negatives could be, because real estate, everything, there's things that can happen, that's just part of it. And so he did a great job of explaining things of why they were and things like that. So I feel like when you're going to ask someone to invest with you, it's really important that you kind of just make sure you have a clear plan and just answers and all the data to support that plan.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And did you ever here's kind of one you can think about, like you can think about your rentals, you can think about loaning, you can think about over leveraging. Okay. Because like I know you and I have talked about how like some days we just wake up and it's like, how did I get so broke?
Yeah.
And what is a mistake that you made early on that you don't want to repeat?
Oh man, I can think of two things from the top of my head. One was with, and I don't get in single family rentals, and that's probably why, because I bought those for tax write-offs. And so the reason I wasn't a good landlord is because I cared too much. And so people, like, in the sense of people, if they couldn't pay their rent, if they didn't need anything, I didn't need the money. I wasn't doing it for their monthly money. So I would just not let them pay their rent, and they'll just pay me when they can. And actually, a lot of them did pay me back, but some people didn't because they had medical issues or things like that. And so I never kicked anyone out because my goal was like the amount of money, because I bought them for good amount of money. I put money into it, and so I tripled my money on each house because of the money I invested in the equity I gained. And so I knew my end game, but the headaches weren't worth it. So
Hmm.
I really need to focus on time and
Hmm.
what is my goal. I focus too much on investing and hustling and not enough on my quality of life, and that was something that I made a mistake in. But the other mistake was like kind of like you said, over leveraging himself. When people know you're an investor and you do have money, a lot of opportunities will come to you. And when they say when you don't ever go shopping when you're hungry, it's kind of the same thing with real estate. I know I have a bunch of money coming in. The way I get paid, we're getting a little personal, but I get paid quarterly bonuses for everything I do. So my most bulk of my money comes from the surgeries and things I do out the year, and I get four big payments. I do get a salary, but that's like one fourth or one fifth of what I actually make. And so that being said, people would come to me with deals and I would already have places for my money to go. And that would stress me out because if a bonus is late or if things aren't on time, I have people kind of waiting for me for different deals. So I'm never going. That's one thing I did last year because I just entered into I bought 32. This was with someone else. I'm a limited partner, but I bought 32 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes in a development with what do they call those houses in the middle?
Like
Like
a community center?
the community center in the middle. It was a great deal. And so I got into that, but he let me pay in payments because I mean, he knew I had the money. He saw my W-2s, he saw my financial statements, but I kind of planned out in advance the money that I was getting. And so I just felt too much stress. And that's one reason I got out of the single family home business. And so I'm learning that, hey, just when the money comes in, then I'll plan. I'm not going to promise and sign deals when I don't have the money yet. So I don't know if that's wise or unwise, but it was way too stressful. So 2026, when the money comes in, then I'll invest it. I'm not going to, when people come to me and say, oh, yeah, I'll have it, because people take my word for it. And I did pay them, but it was just a stressful process. And so it was really not a fun process to be that stressed about it.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, and so many people on here are newer to real estate. And so they're getting started, right? You're on your fifth or sixth year. Like, it's been 11 years now for me. And so, but in the beginning, it's just like, there's no deals. I can't find my next deal. And the reality of it is eventually it turns into like, you can't keep up with the deals. And you're a perfect example because it doesn't matter where it doesn't really matter where your guys' income level is. Like the deals are just they're different sizes, there's different zeros, and there's different risks associated with them. But the deals essentially still stay the same, like as they grow. And but the last thing that I wanted to touch on, and I'll let it open it for questions, is so All right. So everybody on here is either never done their deal or there's a couple in here that are definitely savvy. But what would you almost tell somebody who it's their fifth month? And usually, by what I see with a lot of people, is by most people, if they're not going to continue, they usually quit by like month eight is usually when it's like, they hit that hard part and then they're able to like push through it for one final like push and then they just die off. And so what would you tell somebody who's like just getting started and it's like now it's becoming tough for them?
I would say, I mean, honestly, it's a hard question because it depends on your goals. It depends on what your goal is because just because things are hard, I mean, if your ultimate goal is still within reach, don't give up. I mean, I went through schooling for 14 years to get to my ultimate goal in order just to make money so I can invest money. It's a long process. So if your eyes on the prize, as they say, I think that's the main key because when things are going to get tough, things are going to get hard. You're going to redo, like, here's an example. I bought a house from auction. It was a 3 bedroom, 2 bath in an amazing neighborhood. I bought it for 30,000. It was worth 140, just as is, not even redone. I put about 20,000 into it, and then a pipe freaking burst, and it was a week before something happened with the insurance, so the insurance didn't cover it. And so I'm out all that money that I just put in. I could have said, I don't need these headaches. This is a waste of my time. I can just put it in the stock market, put it in the ETF, deal with not deal with all these headaches, but I didn't stop. I was like, you know what? That was a mistake. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to make sure I always get my insurances. I'm going to make sure everything, my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. And I'm just going to redo it, put the money into it. And I ended up selling it and making 3 times my money. But if I would have just said, I'm done with it, I'm going to sell it for whatever, 50,000 or make 10,000 off of it or take a little bit of a loss just because I'm upset and frustrated, I would have missed a lot of situations because there are things like that. You're going to get hiccups. You're going to get people that, I mean, I was another situation. I don't know if I'm telling you too much, but uh, that somebody fell on one of my properties. And they didn't know what I do. They didn't know that was my specialty. They said they hurt their leg. I do surgery. They didn't hurt anything. They were trying to hustle me. I talked to my lawyer. I talked to my insurance person, and we decided just to pay him off to not to deal with it because there was one thing they didn't know. There was a little loophole, and they could have dragged it out, and it would have cost me more money in lawyer fees. So I just paid them off 5,000 and be done with it. That's the stuff was like, man, I really don't need to be dealing with this. I already have so much stress. But my end goal was no, I know what I have. I know what I can sell it for. I'm going to keep eating because if I have a bigger portfolio, I know there's someone that's going to come along and see how profitable these are because they cash flowed great. These houses that I bought for 30,000, put maybe 50 into it, I was renting them out from 13 to 1400 a month, these houses. And so if you do the ROI on that amount, that's excellent. And so when I had a big person, like let's say a private equity person come in and buy all 16 homes, that's how I was able. I showed them the sheet. I showed them what they made. They come in and looked into everything. We did everything well. All the rehabs we did, we put new units in them, everything. So if I would have got frustrated with the losses, I would have never saw the gain. And so I would say if you do have that situation happen, I would just pray through it and then kind of grind through it. And then you're going to come out on top. I mean, but you have to have a good plan. You can't just be foolish, of course. You have to learn from your mistakes. But definitely don't give up because if you give up, you're definitely going to lose. Just like when they say people that the stock market gains what 10% on average, but if someone just enters and then you lose and you sell, well, you lose. But if you just stay along the course, you're going to come up on top or at least break even. So it's kind of the same thing with real estate, but you have to have a lot tougher skin, I think,
Yeah.
because people are going to be calling you if you're dealing with tenants, if you're dealing with the electrical company, electricians, people who like it's just insane. I still have a lot of active Airbnbs. And I got called yesterday in the middle of surgery saying that something leaked to the condos downstairs. So now I have to fix my unit and the units downstairs,
Mhm.
but you make a deal, you make things happen. The contractor is actually doing all the work for free because I already bought 5 more units and I'm using him. So you use your connections, you use your deals, and you pray through it, and things will happen. Because I prayed, Lord Jesus, just please help me. I have so much stress right now. I'm just taking a lot of L's. Just make something happen. And yeah, I have to pay for some materials, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's all write-offs. I just write it off, and I bought the units at a very good price. I just add some more money to it, and it will work out in the end.
Mhm.
So I mean, everything you do is going to have hiccups, but if you let the hiccups derail you, then you will lose. But if you keep on going, it will work out.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. Well, that was a lot more than I thought we were going to get out of him. So
Sorry.
thanks, dude.
I'm
No,
not
man,
a
I
really,
appreciate
I've
this,
never done
dude.
things like this. He
Yeah.
just asked me to come on.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to hang out tonight, so I figured I'd get something out of him, out of being here. And so, well, thank you, man.
You're
Yeah, dude,
welcome.
this means a lot. Guys, I'll open it. If you guys have questions for Rob, like by all means, just come off mute, ask. If you don't, totally cool. We're going to jump into your guys' stuff right after. And Rob's got to write me a really fancy biography for himself. So, all just like Abraham Lincoln. So, any questions, guys, for Rob? Cool. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, bud.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, I kind of told you that in the beginning, but that was one thing I wanted to have him on here was, he's went from, started out with nothing, bought him at the auction, right? Like Jake, Josh, that's just the Marion County Courthouse, right? He popped over there on a 50-minute lunch break and kept holding his hand up in the air and ended up with some houses. And so nothing fancy to that one. So but I wanted to have him because he's done all of these different aspects and still taken 5 or so years to do it. And a lot of you are on, year one or not even there yet, or I mean, a couple of you are well past that. But just wanted you to see a little bit about that transition. So guys, let's open it up. Whatever problems, questions you guys have. Josh, I heard you're in negotiations potentially with a deal in Salem. And so, or working on one. I don't know. I caught wind of it from a buddy after he'd had quite a few beers the other night, and which is pretty typical for them. And but does anybody have anything? Please just throw your hand up so that you make sure that I address it. So, Josh, while everybody's doing that though, man, tell me about Chase's thing. Are you going to move? Are you looking to move forward with it,
Um,
or were you even looking at it?
Chase, who Chase? Oh,
Landers?
no, he never came to me about anything.
Okay, there was a house in Salem, Illinois, and I thought you were looking at one of his rentals for like 20,000 or 30,000. Zach
No,
Lowry had it listed.
no, well, no, I don't think so. Caleb came to me about a house off of Lakedale Drive in Salem. Um,
Maybe it was
the
Caleb.
uh, the um, the guy he owes 100,000 on it, and I haven't. So I I went through the AI tool, and I ended up paying to have those notices sent out in the mail. I've tried calling this guy and texting this guy, but I guess he has his like call blocker up, text blocker up, and I think Caleb ended up having to go knock on the guy's door to get in contact with him. So that was just one thing that I hadn't done yet. But uh, yeah, I mean, I'm interested, but I Caleb says ARV is around 160, um, and obviously he owes 100. Um, I hope that it's around 160, because I mean, to me, it looks like it needs quite a bit to be 160. It needs a new roof, some flooring, and they've got some god awful taste in paint colors in the interior of that home, from the pictures at least.
Okay.
Uh, and some other cleanup things that probably need to be done too that I can't quite tell from pictures. But
Sounds like it's pretty tight then, if he owes
yeah,
100 on it.
yeah.
Cool.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's. I'd like to look at it, but that's about the only thing that I've got in the pipeline here, I guess, right
Okay.
now. Like I said, I use that tool, and I've sent them out, in Marion County, Clinton County, Randolph County out by my wife. We've been dropping flyers. I've been texting and calling, and they all of these pre-foreclosures, at least they like their call blockers, and they don't really answer texts. So,
Really?
but
Is that who you're mailing to? Is the pre-foreclosures?
yes, yeah.
Nice, man. Well, how many is there? I heard there's like 120. I got asked to read something the other night at a tax assessor meeting, and I declined it, but I heard there's a lot of foreclosure activity in
Yeah,
Marion
there's
County.
a lot out of Centralia. Um, I mean, quite a lot out of Centralia. Salem,
Mhm.
there's not so many. I've got it pulled up right now. There's 33. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah,
Must not be feeling enough pressure yet. So
uh, yeah, no
I
doubt.
don't know how you don't though, man. If you're in pre-foreclosure, you're getting notices. So
Yeah, well, and that's another thing too. This month, I had to issue some notices to my tenants down in Odin. He's defaulted on payment this month.
oh,
So,
good.
yeah, I think it's going to move towards the route of pushing him out.
Mm.
So I've had to deal with that too. And yeah,
That day after that month after Christmas, we typically always end up feeling it. So usually a little bit overspending. Credit card bill is smacking them in the face, and they can't buy anything else. So it's a real thing right now. So
yep. I
anything you want to talk through, man? Any item or thing that you'd like to talk through?
I not necessarily. No, I'm just I don't know. I think I need to try harder, but I think I'm struggling to find some time. But you know, uh, I think I just need to gain the guts to just go knock on doors at this point. I think because I'm not getting through in my calls and in my texts, cold calling anybody. So um, uh, I think maybe making face to face conversation maybe will lead me to a deal. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, if you're running out of time too, like maybe try to not apply the pressure so hard on yourself. Okay. So maybe try to pull that back just a little bit. Keep doing the same activities, just maybe pull back the pressure from yourself a little bit, especially for those of you that have like little ones and a wife at home. So just like be careful burning yourself out and burning them out. And so it's why you always hear me about your like budgets on like just be real careful with your budgets because you don't want to overspend on what you should just to get your first deal. Like you need it to where it's just a consistently budget that is going because it's never not led to a deal. And then if you continue to put the time in and not like it doesn't have to be 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day and it can stop for a week at a time. Just don't burn yourself out and don't pull every dollar out of your pocket because then it's just unnecessary stress. You heard Rob touch on it a little bit too. I've shared my problems with him I've had. He shared his problems with me. And we have the problems that I just told you. And so I'm telling you that from firsthand experience. So you just have to find that consistent zone that you can just always stay in. And that's it. And if people ever start, and this goes for like I'm talking to everybody, Josh, but it's like if you ever start noticing that your budget is starting to run too thin and like you absolutely have to get it, you need to trim your budget down. That's the time to shut that budget down. Not all the way to zero, but shut it down to some form. Okay, because you just have to stay in. You just never get out. When you get out, it's what Rob talked about. But until then, you just continue to trim it down because it will lead to deals. I promise it hasn't ever not. But you have to let time pass because some of you in here, I know that you already have a deal and you have one very quickly. And you got it in like your third week and you didn't even know what a deal looked like, but somehow you ended up with a great one. That's how it goes. Some of you are already experienced real estate investors and you can't find a stinking deal and you know what you're doing and you see some of these other guys who have no experience getting a deal and therefore it just pushes you faster. Just be real careful finding that balance and like basing yourself off somebody else's success or failures. So,
So I guess that kind of does lead me to a question. Since Rob there has obtained so many properties through like the sheriff's deeds at the county courthouses and stuff.
mhm.
Now he has the cash. Now I don't necessarily have the cash, but I have a hard money lender privately that would be able to help me fund these deals.
Hmm.
Is that so? On these sheriff's deeds, whenever you purchase them at the county courthouse, how quickly does the money need to move to purchase that property?
I have no idea.
So they say immediately, but you just make friends with the sheriff and they'll let you do it the next day. But like they'll let you do it immediately. Because one time I found out there was a house because I'm not I don't pretend to be an expert in anything, but I just went on auction.com. That's how I found out about it. I would Google it, try to see what's going on. But sometimes you got to call because the date will change. And so I found out there was a house I was really interested in that changed the date, and so I had to run over there, but I didn't have the cash on me. But didn't want to miss the auction, so I ran over there immediately, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go get the money." They said, "Oh, you can pay us tomorrow." So if they can kind of know you, because I did a couple of deals since then. I mean, but they truly say you have to pay right away. So you do the auction at the courthouse, and you actually walk over to the sheriff's office, and you pay the sheriff.
Okay.
So, but they do say they could require it right away potentially.
Because usually guys take cashier's checks.
I just did cash.
You can do an actual like wad of
I did a
cash.
lot of cash every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've
Yeah.
never seen that, but we never seen duffel bag boy over here. But the
Well,
I'm
I've
trying
read
to-
on that auction.com, isn't there is that there like a 10% deposit that can be put on at the date of sale at the courthouse, and then within 24 hours the funds have to be um
I bet so, man.
transferred?
I bet so. I doubt it's like that moment in time, but I do remember one time we went to the courthouse in Georgia and we took cashier's checks. I wanted one house. It was 30,000 bucks. We borrowed it from a guy. He let me pull cashier's checks out of his account and I took them there. And so, yeah, dude, if you have a hard money lender, I mean, look, what's the worst that could happen? You go there, you know you want this house on XYZ Main Street, and you know that 80 grand's a good price and you'll take it at 80 grand because you went and peeked in the windows and you feel confident 80 works. And so, and you buy it, you get it, right? Like you got it. And then he comes up to you and he's like, "Hey, I need it right now." And be like, "Oh, well, I can have it tomorrow." And if he says, "No, I have to have it right now," I'd be like, "Well, I don't." And what's the word? Okay, well, go sell it to somebody else, even though everybody left. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay with that. Now, it's your father-in-law, right?
Yes.
So if he knew that you could line that up, then like, hey,
Yeah.
if we're going to do this, like, if we, like we like this one here, if we get this, you do have to fund it, on the 15th tomorrow. Does that work for you? So,
Yeah. Well, and I was kind of thinking in my head too, you could kind of line up your max bid even prior to going to the auction, and have that funds already transferred,
mhm.
or in a certified check of some. But then, like if you get it lower than what your max bid is, then your check is off. I don't know.
Yeah. No, well, you're right. So what I did was I took a $20,000 cashier's check and then $1,000 increments after.
Okay.
So I took 10, $1,000 thing. But I think that was like, I just didn't know what to do because every like $10 mattered. It wasn't even my money. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, it's hard to even pay for your cashier's checks. Like, but we didn't end up getting it anyway. It went for like 45 or something. But I didn't have my max number in my head, and I wish I would have like done that. Um, I just only had 30, and so I knew all I could do. So, but I know a lot of times you can't get in the properties, but if you can drive by them, like, I mean, we always look, man, if the window was open, we went in them like every time. Door was unlocked, we went in them.
Oh,
And
you
so,
just walked right in then.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I doubt I'm pretty sure that's just straight trespassing. But like if but if they were unlocked, like we were going to an auction, nobody lived there. It was getting ready to sell at the auction. Like I didn't want to get because once you bought it, you bought it. Um, I
Yeah.
didn't want to get some, they wouldn't let you tour them. So might be worth a shot, man. I don't know what time they do them. My buddy Alex Williams is from Salem. Have you ever heard of his name?
That sounds familiar.
They just bought one right next to the courthouse and they're putting a coffee shop in it. And um he buys them. He bought it at the auction. So
Okay.
he's bought several of the downtown properties there.
I've missed a few of these auctions, just not trying, like just being naive, not knowing the real estate game, how I could find the funding, things like that. I missed one on there was one in Hester Estates. Um, yeah, that would have been a great one to pick up. But I didn't know how, and yeah.
I
So
mean,
I
it
can,
usually comes down to the money, right? Like if you, whenever those auctions are, like if you know you want the property and you know you can, you know that it works for you. I mean, I
yeah.
bet, dude, I bet there's so many that go up for auction in Centralia non-stop. I bet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in Centralia, it's kind of split in that, Washington County, Marion County, because of that.
Clinton County, yeah.
Yeah, so could be pulling you to different courthouses too.
hmm Well, man, I think you're doing all of the stuff that you should be doing. And so don't doubt that piece of it. Don't doubt yourself. And then if you like this idea of the courthouse thing, just add that to piddling around with it. But just be mindful of like if you're running low on time, then don't try to like force this, right? Like you're here, dude. You're not going anywhere. Like you're in. So like don't try to force things. And if the tool, like if say the Cashflow Hunter AI tool is too expensive, then maybe think about downgrading it, or maybe think about partnering with somebody in here to split the cost of it, or something like that. Okay, just try to get the pressure off of your guys' backs. If it becomes a, I try to iterate this all the time. If it becomes financial stress, then try to get that off your back. It's very hard to do. It's like shopping when you're hungry, man. So
Me and Rob uh, uh, from Delaware, we split the AI tool.
nice, dude. Rob's on here. So good for you guys, man. Glad y'all are doing that. Okay, brother. Anything else, man?
Nope, not that I can think of.
Mhm.
I appreciate you, giving me some advice and guidance on that.
Every week, dude. Every week, man. I won't ever stop with it. Go ahead, Mr. J.
All right. Um, I've reached out to several wholesalers and different companies, and I've been getting bombarded with houses and properties. I'm still not sure what's a good deal, you know? I try to comp them, and whether there's information that's incorrect on three different websites, it's kind of hard to figure out if it is a good deal or not. I mean, I'm looking at one right now in Leavenworth, Kansas City. The guy's wanting 120. He says it's the ARV of 240. It's pretty much gutted. There's a couple rooms that have sheetrock in it. They've done some reframing, wiring, and a bunch of stuff. Pretty much the inside needs to be finished. Outside, probably just some touch-up stuff. But I'm having problems finding comps to see whether or not it's a good deal, and just my complete inexperience to say whether or not to move forward with this. So
Yeah. Okay, man. So is it in a neighborhood?
it is,
Okay. It's hard to comp in a neighborhood.
with the criteria that is in there, whether stuff hasn't sold.
Mhm.
I don't know. I can get you the address, and maybe you could make me help out with it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, let me ask you this too. And are you focusing, because I remember our last conversation, are you going to focus on KC?
I was basically staying there until I ran out of prospects, and then I was gonna to go into Indy.
Okay, cool. I bet you'll end up staying in KC. So, all right. And have you spoke with Alejandro in here at all?
No, I friended him on Facebook, and that was my next things to do.
Cool. I would make this super simple on yourself. We're gonna run comps here, but like once you find yourself do you have a real estate agent that you've spoken with?
No.
Okay, let's find one. They can like they'll run comps like for you. Okay. Now I will too, but like, I can't run 10 properties a day for you,
Right,
but
right.
but they will. So, and they'll know like they know gentrification areas, they know opportunity zones, they know D.R. Horton is building a subdivision next door, that Amazon is starting a plant. Like they know all of that local knowledge that you and I will never know. And so that's the benefit of having that like one local agent. And I'll tell you, typically your best ones are going to be a super young person. Like they have a job and they're just trying to become a real estate agent simultaneously. So
Good.
best person out there. Okay. All right. So what do you think your hang up is when it comes to comping, Jay? Like just free balling it. Like what kind of seems like it's your hang up? Is it
Well,
like,
I think I get the process, because if you go into the AI Hunter tool, you drill down with everything you showed us.
yeah,
Um, but there's such a wide range of price spreads and the architecture of the houses, the condition of the houses, like what do you, if something's really run down and needs cosmetic and complete redo on the interior,
yep,
what's the value of it, like realistically in condition versus what it's going to be sold for, in 4 months?
cool. Can you drop me the address in the chat, please? I'll look it
Yes.
up. And I'm gonna call on Ashley while you do that. Go ahead, Ashley.
Hey, it should be a quick question. Don and I downloaded or signed up for the AI Hunter. It charged me the full price and I did the annual. So does it actually last like 16 months then? Like how do you get the 4 months free? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Let's see. Which one did you do? Like 100? Did you do?
The 99 per month, which is what is that math? I forgot.
Yeah.
For the whole annual.
Uh,
But it charged me for
so
12 months. So I
the,
was
the that was my issue. You have to do the annual one and not the month to month, or you have to do the month to month and not the annual.
yeah, I paid for the full year. So it charged me 1188.
Yep. So you're good with that, Ashley. And so if you would do it, so it gave you 4 months for free. So say you would do 149 times 12 months. So that's
Oh, it's normally
17.
149.
That's 1788. Correct.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking every year
Okay.
was the 99. I understand now. Okay,
Yeah, totally cool. I'm glad you asked. Other people have the same question. So
thanks.
you're all good.
Was
Yeah,
it?
of course. All right. Jay, do I got it?
Put it
I
in the
do.
chat there. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, guys, let's take a little peek. I'm going to show you how to do this even without the AI tool. Okay, that way, in case like the AI tool isn't within budget or something, let's just take a look.
Try to throw it on Zillow as well. That's coming up with something even worse. But
Okay. Hmm. All
and
right.
this guy is actually a Facebook friend of Alejandro. So I don't know if that's good or bad in the situation. I'm sure he's already on it if it's a good thing.
Ah, you never know, man. He can't keep up right now anyway. So he's got so many deals they're buying. You know what, man? It probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And this will be fair if he won't give you this, but like maybe ask him what wholesalers he's buying from, if he wouldn't mind sharing one. So
Okay.
yeah, if he's buying from him, it definitely works. Okay, so you got a 1-1. Okay, well this is really difficult to start. Okay, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Why is it so big? Is this just like a is this just a massive open house?
Well, here's the thing on that though. So it's not a 1-1.
Okay.
It's been gutted and changed to a 3-2.
Okay, cool. So we got a 3-2.
Same square footage. They didn't add on to the house. They just rearranged some stuff.
Okay. Does
But that's
KC
the
not?
kind of items that I'm running into. Like,
So KC doesn't disclose their home sales? Okay. See, so this is unfortunately why we have to have these tools like this. Man, guys, I did that update on my computer and boy, I think it bogged my sucker down. All right, man, let's take a little look-see. All right, so the AI tool has got around 173. These are typically pretty close, okay? just so you guys all know. Like usually this thing knows exactly what it's looking for, but the one caveat here, Jay, is that yours is a 1-1. Okay. And it's comping it like it's a 1-1. Let's take a look at it. Okay, dude. We have a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, right? That is 1,200 square foot. So let's go through everything here. So I only do sold, and so let's kind of go through this. Here's a 3-2. We will thumbs that up. Here's a 4-2. That's fine. Here's a 3-1. That's fine. Here's a 3-1.5. That will work. And you can see how all of these are relatively close. Okay. I don't really like going anything less. All right, because you're really going to skew some comps. 48 days on market. Pretty good. See when that sold. Nice. Okay.
So I've been going up and fine tuning the criteria at the top, and I see you're not really doing that, or is that the next step?
Where at? Right here?
Yeah, all the 1 mile, the sold, that whole thing up there.
No,
So it's
man,
got a very wide range.
I'm not super concerned with it because what we usually do whenever we're running comps on things is I try to get a baseline idea of it and then I'll begin discussing it with like the wholesaler because I'm going to guess, Jay, the wholesaler sent you um, some info, right, on his
Yeah,
comps.
yeah. I got a flyer, and then I messaged him, and he's
Yep.
sending me a little more information.
Yep. And so you take his comps into account and then you go run your own. And so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of skimming through this and trying to take a guess on like what would be some good comps. And I don't get too specific with this because any home I put under contract and have the right to buy, I have a real estate agent go out and run a CMA to verify that my comps are correct. I'm
Okay.
just trying to figure out if, hey, do I want to pursue this deal or not? And so, because it's looking like right here, so we got an average sale of 149,000. And what this is telling me is that 3 2s and 1.5 all around this area right here. Now we can go much deeper, right? I can look at photos, I can look at bed, bath, garage, layouts, brick, vinyl. There's so much more that I could do. I don't want to do it on this call, but I'm trying to just get a gauge on what he thinks that it's worth. And so, is this what you've already done, Jay?
Yeah, with a lot more refining in the filters up there.
Okay, cool. So you're doing the right stuff then. So is it just that you're not getting to an evaluation that these wholesalers are? Is that like the hang up?
Yeah, and I know they're probably inflating it, a bit. But when I come up with something that's in the high 100s and they're saying 240 to 250, it makes me think, am I doing something wrong, or are they just completely flat out wrong with their ARV?
Most wholesalers are going to inflate. Here's a good thing. Most guys are going to and gals are going to inflate it about 10%. So if you see one that's 240, I would probably guess, Jay, that it's probably right around 220.
Okay.
Yeah, without having to specifically run it. And you can even see here, and let me point this out. So I just went through, I marked all of the comps, and this is exactly how I do it, guys. I'm not like doing it differently. I would go deeper and probably spend another 15 minutes on this. Then I would be scrolling this way, looking at the square footages. Like, look at these sales prices. Like, these are great sales prices. And so you can see where he's probably coming into some of these values right here. Because what you now want to try to do, Jay, is like, how do you disprove that this is a good comp? Because this home sold for 214. Look at some of these other ones. Like there's no sales price there. That doesn't do us any good. And so between these right here, doesn't do us any good. Look at what we're at. 209.
Okay.
So probably pretty close here, man. And I would feel really good. Look how close these are too.
So if we just call that a 210, and
Hmm.
then, I mean, I don't know what a complete redo of the interior is on that kind of a house.
Probably
Probably
45 bucks a square foot at least. I don't know if it's got wire.
it's already wired. It's been framed. He says it just needs the sheetrock and finishes.
Hmm. Okay. Probably 45. How many square foot are we, Jay?
12 and a half, 12, I think.
60 grand? A little bit under. Oof, that might be low. It might be more than that. Well, let's use it to play with though. Purchase
Okay.
price is 20,000. Repairs are, where's my drawing tool? Let's go 60,000. And let's do our ARV.
We can't see what you're writing.
Thank you. How about now, Jay?
There we go. Yep.
Thanks for always tell me that, guys, because I don't catch that. Okay, cool. Our ARV is 210, and that looks kind of like the max ARV. And so you take 120 plus 60 equals 180 all in. So you got 180. So you do 180,000 divided by 210. 85%. Okay. Still just a little high for you, Jay.
Okay.
Remember we want this around 70?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking it was going to be quite 60, but you know better than I do. So,
Well, 1250 square foot home, man. Pure sheetrock, all finishes, fixtures. I don't know about flooring, and I'm assuming there's no appliances in it.
yeah, there's nothing. It's a
Probably not.
bathtub.
Probably every bit of 60. But here's
Okay.
the cool thing. Now you have the ammo. Now here's what you do, Jay, with this deal. Hey, buddy, I just went, wholesale, let's call the wholesaler Dave. So, hey, Dave, I just went and ran some comps, man. I can't get to 240. I can see how you got to 240, but I don't think that those are the true comps. And we're in a downward trending market. And so I'm at 210. Okay. House needs a full gut. So I'm at about 45 to 50 bucks a square foot. So I'm at $60,000. Okay. So if I bought the home for 120 grand, I'm positive I would lose money. And so do you have room in this deal or not? Usually they say yes and say, okay, so I'll buy everything at 70% ARV. So that means, Dave, hmm. Oh, found it. So that means I'll buy at 210 times 70% minus 60,000 is what I can buy this for. So 210,000 times 0.7 minus 60,000 is 87,000. It's probably about where he has it, really. So, and that's what I would do, Jay. And then I would go on to the next one.
So I need to go back to him and tell him he's priced a little too high.
Yes, but you need to be able what I like to do, man, is talk him through it and be like, so hey Dave, I see where you got to 240, man, but I don't think that's accurate. Like I see a 210, I see a 209, and I'm seeing some days on market, and so I'm comfortable at 210. And so that drops the purchase price $30,000 just in itself. And so do you have room in this deal or not? And so now you're just having a conversation with them. That's where we always start, man, because then it opens up the doors to everything else. And he could say, actually, I don't, Jay. Like I have this thing at like 219. I'm just looking to help the seller out. And I told him I'd send it out to my buyers list. So it's not really a good deal. I was just hoping somebody would pick it up.
Gotcha.
Cool. Thanks. Next. And then you go on to the next because you're inundated with deals. And so you're trying to just turn through these to see which one is a good one. And I'd probably steer away from like super torn up properties. Okay. Like this one.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this is the kind of the majority of the properties that I've been receiving are items like this,
Mhm.
to where they're on the higher end,
Mhm.
and it just doesn't make sense with exactly what you just did to proceed with it. But I guess I should be going back to them and explaining it just like you did. Say, hey, is there any room to work here?
Yes. So
Okay.
dude, I'm so glad you said that. Guys, that has to happen 100% of the time. I bet you'll probably never receive a deal from a wholesaler and look at it and be like, "Oh, that's a great one." It only happens when you go back and discuss and sell. Like, right, you
Okay.
just go tell them, and you don't have to sell them, right? You're just telling them like, "Hey man, I'm at 210. Here's the property addresses and why." So like, I don't see this in your comp and this one's across the street. So, it's definitely a valid comp. So we've got to use that. So the best we can do is 210. That drops you 30,000 right there. Like, is this do you have room here or not? And so it also shows them that you're very professional and you know what you're doing as well.
Makes sense, yeah. So
Yeah.
I've probably got through 25 properties with three different people that have been sending me things, and none of them
Nice,
really
man.
make sense. But doing it like you just did and going back to them is definitely the way to go.
Yep. So you guys know like the deals that we receive don't make sense either. So this is cool you brought this up. Like the deals we receive don't make sense either. We just look for the houses that we want and then we call them and we work through trying to buy it with them. So I'm looking for my buy box, and that's what I mean by the houses work. 3 2s, 1,400 square foot, in a specific zip code. That's it. And then we call them and we'll go through the numbers with them. If their numbers are right, fine, we'll take it for that. If they're not, we'll help them see what we see, and then you can have the opportunity to help us see what you're seeing. But you can't ever get around the fact of the data, and that's what's so healthy about. And dude, you'll be so good at this after you do this. I don't know, 3 weeks. Like we just talked what last week. So like you go run this stuff hundreds of times, like you're gonna be able to fly through these things.
Yeah, they're getting quicker for sure. Just
Yeah.
on the 20 that I've done, 20, 25 of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Cool, man.
okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Of course, man. And don't forget, guys, I'm around. We got a call tomorrow at 11 too. So Jay, those calls have been really small. So if like you want a specific deal, let's do it again tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Andy, and then Dawn.
Yeah, just a quick question on PPC and picking my market. Uh, I had a note in from one of our trainings talking about the population and when you would would feel good about using PPC, and that number was like I think 1 million plus. Does that ring true still, or
Yeah, as far as a market area, like the total
yeah?
population for the area, yeah, I like to see at least 1 million because it'll keep your cost per lead pretty low.
Okay. And because I was looking to stay in the home market and the major metropolitan right here where we are, the three, uh, well, it's central Mississippi is around 650,000.
Okay.
So that's that's less than the 1 million, but I didn't know if
Oh,
that
that's
would.
okay. It's okay. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. And what we can do as well with PPC, like, have you talked to Jared already?
I have not. I just got my LLC set up, got my EIN and all of
Congrats.
that. So
Nice, man.
I'm
What'd you name it? If can I ask?
mid Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's Millie's Properties.
Oh, cool. And can we hear a reason? Or I don't like
Yeah,
digging too
that's
deep because sometimes this smacks me in the face.
no, it's Pet's name.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tabby's Properties, obviously a pet. So,
yeah, yeah.
cool, man. Okay, yeah. And so what you can do with PPC a lot of times, like these managers, like they have a circle around that geographical area. It'll say 610,000, and they just take the circle and they go, "Ooh," and now it's at
Okay,
800,000. So it's okay. And then they can like that stretch mark that they put on it, they can still make the main focus be here. But if they can get a cheap lead from up here, they'll take it.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So
And
it's just a
Jared, that guy
conversation.
will cover all of
Okay.
it for you, man.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you'll
That's it.
really enjoy that. Like that's a, and you're an engineer, right? And so like you're extremely good at analytics and numbers and data. And so when you basically have an IT engineer that you're going to get to talk to there. So you'll
Okay.
enjoy it.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah. What was the other thing though? Didn't you have wasn't there two?
No, it was just the one.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Mississippi's a pretty good market, man. So okay, Miss Dawn, and then Chad.
Okay. Um, so when you were running the numbers with Jay, would he need to include the closing costs so that he knows what to offer to buy the house for?
Great question. He will not, because did you see how I ran that at 70%?
Right.
That includes about everything. That includes like holding costs, private money costs, closing costs, utilities, and 6 months hold.
Okay. That
Yep.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's
And
why we
then,
buy them at 70%. It's because it gives you a lot of room, Dawn, for error. And so
okay.
once you guys really get lead flow, either through wholesalers or through your market, like today, a lot of you are just like, I just want to get a deal so I can make an offer, right? But like lead flow is the ultimate thing. Like you heard Josh, like he's struggling to get his lead flow. Like that's all it is. What he's doing today isn't producing what he wants to have like yet, right? It's very short term type stuff, but it will. But once you have the lead flow, like you're going to see a lot of homes, you can buy them all day at like 80% ARV. But the problem with 80%, guys, they work all the time. We buy at 80% all the time right now, but I can handle something happening because if you buy at 80% ARV, this much bad things can happen, like none, and you break even or lose money. At 70%, a whole lot of bad things can happen. It's just going to be really unlikely you're going to lose money on the deal, like with a ton of bad things happening. So that's why I stress so heavily about 70%.
No, that makes sense. Then my other question is, if how would I know how much the repairs are going to be without getting a home inspection?
Yep, you do the best to estimate that you can. And so, oh my gosh, I never put that out. Okay, I have something coming out for you guys on that. And so I'm really going to help you with it. And so we do things in round numbers, Don, like roofs 10 grand, bathrooms 5 grand, kitchens 10 grand, paint's 5 grand, flooring's 5 grand. And it's like pretty darn close every time.
Okay.
Yep. And I'll have that together for you. Now, for those of you that know all about rehabs, I know those are not correct numbers and the sizes of homes and square footages and all that matter. But for somebody just starting, it is very helpful to round it in $5,000 increments.
My last question. So if I'm looking at property in a different state, how would I go about finding a good contractor that I can trust to do the repairs for me?
Yep. A couple different ways. I'll give you three. Call Home Depot, ask for the pro desk and ask who their best contractor is for whatever your needs are. Two,
Okay.
call Lowe's, do the exact same thing. Three, call a real estate agent and ask them who their best contractor is. You
Perfect.
really only ever need one good contractor. If you find one good drywall guy, one in one market, he knows a flooring guy, he's got a stair buddy, he's got a roof buddy, he's got an HVAC, but you find one good contractor, you'll have
He
all
got
the
his
rest.
friends. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Also, I think in my chart, I had $9,000 spending. The Lowe's Pro Desk brought it down to $4,000 if you do bulk deals.
Oh yeah, the QSP stuff.
Like they
Yeah.
brought it down and they get me my contractor in Hot Springs. That's amazing. So
Mm.
that's what I did.
Okay. He just steals from Lowe's. That's what he said. So, no, I'm kidding. Okay. Don, did I answer everything?
Yep, that was
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Chad, Leslie? Hi, guys. Feel like I haven't seen you in a month.
I know it's been forever. Hi. So we finally things are finally starting to slow down for us because I think last we talked to you, we kind of filled you in on the Airbnb that we're going to be co-hosting on. So we finally have that up and going and launched, and things are going really well with that.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
very exciting. So we have that done. With Christmas being over now, we finally have time. You were talking about time earlier, right? We finally have time to now focus more back on this again. So I had a quick question for you about the Cashflow AI tool. And you were talking about splitting it with people. So are you able to have like two separate logins? Like if we split it with you, like we would have our own login and you would have your own login, or how does that work to where you're not like if you're saving things, you're not saving over top of each other?
Yeah. 1 second. Dawn, Ashley, do you have
Yep.
separate logins or the same?
Right now it's just mine, which I gave her like the info for. I didn't know you could do two. How does that work?
Oh, I don't know if you can. I don't think you can. So that's why I was curious, just
I
in
was
case
not
you
given
guys
an
could do
option to do
two.
that, but
Yeah, you only want to have two different IPs. So don't do three of y'all with different IPs as long as it comes from like so Chad, it can be your computer, it can be Leslie's computer, and then it could be Jake's. That's cool. Like different just two different areas is fine.
Okay.
So don't do Jake, Chad. Like you just pinged three parts of the United States. Don't do that. So then they'll block it.
So those that are sharing, have y'all run into any issues of, when you're saving your comps and that kind of thing, running your reports, have you run into any issues saving over top of each other or anything like that? Are you okay with sharing?
When I save a list or something, I just put Rob's list and the location.
Okay.
So, like I haven't saved over anything. It seems to be okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rob's
and
list,
I-
don't touch. Don't touch my list.
I share with Rob, and so it's easy because he's way out of state for me. Like his region's not even close. So if you pair up with somebody that's not anywhere close to you, it's easier to distinguish.
Okay.
Cool. I bet you can only be on it at one at a time though. Like well, yeah, I guess you would be if it's a login.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably only one of you at a time.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you,
Hey,
guys.
congrats on getting your co-listing though. So guys, this is something I'm glad they said this because I've thought about this before because Tyler was on here one night and I believe he was starting a property management company. And it made me think for some of you that you're wanting to you're getting started or whatever. And like I don't want you to like this is kind of like, do I get my real estate license to be an investor? It's like I don't really know if that's really needed or not. But being a property manager is not a bad gig for this. And so it basically has now it's effort and it's a lot of work, but it's kind of just got upside built into it. So it's basically like the effort and the hustle and you get paid for it. Okay, like only 100 or $200 a door, not like Chad and Leslie do for Airbnb, like that pays a lot more. But not a bad idea for some of you in here either. If you wanted to manage 10 or 15 rentals locally, you're probably looking at 1,000 or 1,500 a month in income. Not passive though. Like it ain't passive at all. But yeah.
We've put in a lot of hours the last 7 weeks.
Yeah.
We've
I
got
would
it on
imagine.
autopilot now, mostly. So
Yeah,
it's a lot of upfront work, at least from the short term side. It's a lot of upfront work. And then now it's just computer work.
Now
Computer work, phone calls, and as long as you have it's really no different, because we're 4 hours away and our cleaners they're everything. So her husband is our handyman. So they just take care of everything, which is awesome. And if they can't do it, they either know somebody or then I just have to start calling and finding somebody to take care of the issue.
Yeah.
And we
Cool,
do
man.
like we're heading down to that area this weekend, and so we're gonna we have to go to his place 2 different times. So like that's time, right?
Yeah.
But every time we go down now, we have to make an effort to make sure that we stop at his place to check on things.
Yeah.
So
I just like it because you really learn a lot. Like there's a lot to be learned in there, and you kind of get to learn on somebody else's dime
That's the
well. So like, they'll fire you super quick, but like, but you know what I'm saying though, like you get to learn, you get some nice experience out of it.
Yeah.
So cool, guys. Okay, well, guys, I think I'm going to stop it here for the night. We've got to do a few things, and my wife made us dinner, and Rob wanted to see the kids and stuff. And so, but on that note, and so, guys, for those of you like with Jay, so Jay is like, hey, dude, like I'm looking at stuff. I still don't know where my deal is. Tomorrow it's during the workday, okay? Like, and I know that, and so I just can't do like 3 evening calls. Or honestly, I just would. If I was still single, I would do evening calls every night for you guys. But those calls during the day, if you can, like just bring me deals nonstop because they're so small. They seem like they're going to stay really small. Bring me that deal, like Jay, bring me a deal or two, and let me just go all the way through it. Like everything. I'll screen share. It's recorded for everybody else too. And I think there'd be a lot of value because what you guys will notice is that I will get hung up sometimes. And I'll be like, I don't know, man. I don't know that. I can't figure that comp out. And sometimes when that happens, that does mean it's a pass. Or maybe I'll show you something that like we have to spend some time and go get from maybe an agent or from the wholesaler or whatnot. But I think like live deal evaluating, because in the training, I do have some live deals, but a lot of them are hypothetical because that's an easier way to teach for you guys because it helps your mind absorb things. Rather, if I showed you like exact specific deals, you get stuck on the deal and you don't learn. And so I have to use hypothetical examples to teach. But now you've learned. And so maybe the real world examples are what everybody's after. So load me up on there, man. I got hour and a half tomorrow that I can put into that. So cool. Well, hey guys, I hope y'all got something out of tonight. Thank y'all for being here. We have such a great turnout every, these calls are heavily attended by every one of you that are on this call. So let me know if there's anything I can do for you guys. Shoot me a message, drop me a note in the Facebook group, and congrats to a lot of you. I know loans are happening and contracts are being signed. I know Jake locked up almost a huge potential he had, and so just well done for those of you that are just you're getting your traction. And so for everybody else that doesn't feel like they're getting their traction, just don't stop chopping wood. So you'll get it. Cool. Okay, guys. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. I'll be on, I think it's 11 a.m. So bring me anything you all need and have a great night. See you
Bye,
guys.
guys. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Travis.
Absolutely.